Ollie Robinson takes 8 to skittle Middlesex for under 100. Early in the season they'd looked like one of the most likely teams to achieve promotion to Division 1, but a series of poor results had seen Sussex slip down the table, just a few points ahead of Worcestershire and Leicestershire. Middlesex, meanwhile, have improved and now find themselves in the midst of a battle in mid-table. A sodden outfield in Hove meant the contest didn't get underway until well into the afternoon, and when play did start, the Sussex faithful were rewarded for their patience. With the first ball of the innings, Ollie Robinson removed opener Sam Robson for a golden duck, caught behind by captain Ben Brown. Gubbins would join him a few overs later, a spectacular catch from Tom Haynes in the gully, helping Robinson to his second wicket. The dangerous Milan was his next victim, he too caught behind, Robinson now with 3 wickets from his opening 5 overs. But he wasn't done there. 3 became 4 in his next over. Paul Sterling trapped LBW for 4. And there would be no let-up. Robinson had 5-er in the next over, Finch holding on to the edge from Eskenazi. And 2 balls later he had 6, the same combination producing the same result to see Harris depart for a duck. Robinson continued relentless in his pursuit of wickets. It looked nigh on impossible to stop the Sussex seamer. Simpson had to go, his off-bail removed, and he was followed shortly by replacement Souter. His 2 runs, a miniature moment of defiance before another edge through to Brown, saw Robinson pick up his 8th. Roland Jones would bring up the 50 with a 6, a rare moment to celebrate for Middlesex, but he fell to the next ball, Haynes finding another edge to Finch. Murtagh and Finn would manage to drag Middlesex into the 70s before Beer wrapped up the innings. Finn trapped LBW for 5, the side 75 all out, and tea taken. The start to the Sussex innings would mirror that of their opponents. Salt found the boundary with Murtagh's first ball, but would fall to his 3rd, picking out Gubbins at mid-wicket. Haynes too fell cheaply, Roland Jones the man to remove him, caught by Sterling in the gully. They couldn't add to the score when Finch fell LBW to Roland Jones in his next over. Sussex looked to be all at sea, but Luke Wells and Alex Carey forged a partnership to guide the home side past 50 and edge closer to Middlesex's first innings total. That would be eclipsed in quick time, the all-action start to the innings giving way to the Wells and Carey partnership. And before long, Wells had reached his 50. When stumps was called, Sussex had recovered from their tough start to reach 128 for 3, leading by 53. But despite that effort with the bat, the day will be remembered for Ollie Robinson's spell with the ball. His figures of 8 for 34 are the best bowling performance by any bowler in both divisions of the Specsavers County Championship so far this season. Sussex will have to make sure they take advantage of their position of control and build a solid lead on day 2. Roland Jones' 5-er gives Middlesex hope on tough day in Hove. On the evidence of the first day of play, you'll struggle to find a faster moving match in the Specsavers County Championship this week. No fewer than 13 wickets had fallen on day 1, 8 of them taken by Sussex's Ollie Robinson, whose figures of 8 for 34 are the best recorded in both divisions of the Specsavers County Championship so far this season. Luke Wells and Alex Carey had produced the bulk of their runs, but the pair would not stay together for too long. Wells caught at mid-wicket off the bowling of Roland Jones. Carey reached his 50 in the next over, another feather in his cap after an impressive World Cup showing. He didn't go any further though. Roland Jones once again the man to strike for Middlesex. Carey caught in the slips. Brown followed in the next over, Murtagh finding the edge, Simpson making no mistake with the catch. The visitors continued to turn the screw. 2 maiden overs built the pressure, and Roland Jones took advantage. Visa caught behind for a duck, the Middlesex man with 5 wickets. That brought Ollie Robinson to the crease, fresh off the back of his heroic 8-wicket first innings haul. But what could he produce with the bat? It was a masterclass of counter-attacking. Striking up a productive partnership with Beer, Robinson took a fancy to the Middlesex bowling, targeting Finn in particular, and guiding Sussex past 200. By the time the pair reached lunch, the score was a much improved 232 for 7, with Beer nearing his 50, and the home side leading by 157. Robinson fell shortly after the restart, Souter taking the catch off his own bowling. But Beer remained and picked up his third County Championship 50 of the campaign in the next over. He and Elliot Hooper continued to look for boundaries, the total now edging closer to 300. Hooper fell to Finn, feeling at one outside his off stump, only to edge through to Simpson for 20. But Beer's enthusiasm would be his undoing. Looking for another expansive drive, he was bowled by Murtagh, bringing the innings to a close. Sussex all out for 309. Middlesex had a mountain to climb. They trailed by 234 ahead of their second knock, and getting anything out of the game would require a Herculean effort. That task was made even tougher with the third ball of the innings. Ollie Robinson once again making his mark. Eskenazi bowled through the gate for 4. Gubbins and Robson managed to guide their side through to tea without further loss, the score 36 for 1. The young duo of Jared Warner and Elliot Hooper would make it a tough restart. Warner was the man to pick up the next wicket, a tempting line across left-handed Gubbins finding an edge through to the slips. Hooper would have a moment to remember soon after as he picked up his maiden first-class wicket. Milan bowled for 19. Robinson back in the attack had Sterling out for a duck. Middlesex 4 down and their hopes dwindling. Simpson counter-attacked the Sussex bowlers and found some success as the Sussex lead dropped to double figures. They finished the day 149 for 4, trailing their host by 85 runs. Another tough day at the office for Middlesex, made slightly more palatable by the performance of Toby Rowland-Jones, his 5-wicket haul helping restrict the Sussex batting effort. The spectre of an innings defeat still threatens the Middlesex lineup, who will be hoping to erase their deficit in the first session on day 3. Robinson records best match figures for Sussex in 55 years in win over Middlesex. Middlesex have had a bit of a shocker on the south coast, but day 2 brought a glimmer of hope. Toby Rowland-Jones finding a morale-boosting fifer as they prevented the home side from really piling on the runs. But despite a half-century from Sam Robson, Middlesex had slumped again in the third session. The Sussex lead cut to double figures at the close of play, but at the cost of 4 wickets. Robson resumed for the visitors, Simpson alongside him, having already made a decent start to his innings. And they made a good fist of it, the lead dwindling with every over, Simpson finding the boundary and his own score growing towards a 50. But this had been Ollie Robinson's game, and he duly delivered the breakthrough for Sussex. Robson edging to Finch at slip for the bowler's 11th wicket of the match and 3rd of the innings. Simpson was unaffected, reaching his half-century a few overs after the loss of his partner. The score crept up and the deficit reduced. Harris up to the task as his colleague at the other end took the attack to the Sussex bowlers. They were on level terms before lunch, and the home side looked to be on the back foot for the first time in the match. Both men made it through to the interval safely. Middlesex 252 for 5 now, leading by 18 runs. But there was no keeping Ollie Robinson out of this match, and he duly delivered. Simpson's impressive knock ended on 89 as he left one to crash into his off stump. Harris took up the baton, opening his shoulders as he took on the Sussex bowlers. Rowland-Jones looked to take a leaf out of his book, but his big heave at Haynes saw him stumped, thanks to lightning-fast glove work from Ben Brown. Robinson removed Souter in the next over, the Middlesex man only able to edge him through to Brown. Harris became the latest man to fall to Robinson soon after, bounced out for 66, Brown holding on to the edge. Stephen Finn is a central figure in the Middlesex dressing room, and the defiance with which he began to play saw Middlesex's lead reach triple figures. The final 6 from Finn came just a few balls before the end of the innings, a superb catch from Carey, seeing the Middlesex bowler depart for his career top score of 56. Middlesex were all out for 378, setting Sussex 144 to win when tea was taken. That late rally from the Middlesex lower order had given them a glimmer of hope. There was still a twist or two left in the match. The first came early on, Salt bowled cheaply by Murtagh, out for 10. Haynes too fell prematurely, Finn adding a wicket to his earlier 50. The Sussex number 3 bowled all ends up for 11. Game on. And the wickets kept coming. Finch the next man to go, Murtagh finding an edge through to Eskenazi in the slips, and momentum now with the visitors. But Carey and Wells stemmed the flow. They began to find their feet, and the target dropped into double figures. And the partnership developed into a destructive one. Carey dealt almost exclusively in boundaries. 3 consecutive sixes off Souter's first 3 balls, taking him to within 1 shot of a quick-fire 50. Another from the 6th taking him to the milestone. While Sussex still needed more than 30 to win, the Australian had all but ended Middlesex's hopes of causing an upset. Fittingly, it was Carey who scored the winning runs, finishing 69 not out as they wrapped up a 7-wicket victory. It was a damaging defeat for Middlesex. They had hoped that with the right results elsewhere, a win on the south coast could see them compete for a promotion slot at the top of the table. Instead, they find themselves leapfrogged by Sussex. The performances of Carey, Wells and Beer had been highlights for the home side, but the match belonged to Ollie Robinson. His match figures of 14 for 135 are the best by any Sussex bowler in a first-class contest since Ian Thompson took 15 against Warwickshire more than 50 years ago. They'll return to stake a claim for promotion in September, this victory revitalising what had been a flagging county championship campaign.